Hey YouTube, I wanted to do another knife review for you, and this one is on the Emerson HMMV-K. As you can see from the blade, this is the knife of the year for 2003 for the Emerson Collectors Association. And what the ECA is just it's a membership you can buy into, and it gets you the ability to buy knife of the year models, as well as some of the when the knives come out, like new knife models come out, you can buy them before most of the public can purchase them. But the HMMV-K was limited to 100 pieces, and in 2003 it was a pretty unique knife for Ernie, because I believe it was the first time he introduced the thick lock bar. In 2004 is when he kind of introduced it on a full scale, introducing it on his customs and some of his productions. But 2003, I think the HMMV-K was the first one to have this thick stock lock bar and non-locking liners. So of course people enjoy that. It's also unique because it has titanium backspacer with this like block look. And the backspacer is actually larger than the handle. As you can see, it kind of protrudes out past the handle scales. So it's pretty thick. I mean, it's compared to a 7, so let's look at it's pretty thick. And it's pretty heavy. It's I would say it's double the size of this 7 as far as weight. The blade itself is not much larger. It's a chisel ground, chisel grind, zero grind, and it's hand ground by Ernie. And the blade itself is not a whole lot larger than that of the 7. So we can see them, try to get them lined up. It's maybe a quarter of an inch longer than the 7. Which, I mean, 3.5 inch blade is not very long, but it's the handle that really lends a lot of the weight. I mean, granted, the blade is wider and more stout. I don't know. It's more broad, but the handle itself is really quite large, and you can see it really fills the hand. Whereas the 7 is, I think the 7 is very comfortable. And then the HMMV-K is just kind of like I know people who carry this knife on the regular, and they have quite large hands. But what's interesting is the shape of this handle. It's very angular, which is not like Emerson. Most of his handles are very curvaceous and formed to the hand very comfortably. This one is very very rugged looking, and it kind of reminds me, this HMMV-K would probably be likened to a Strider GB or something of that style, which is it's a very stout, rugged knife. I find that its most comfortable position is like this, where you actually have the middle finger in this area right here. Actually, you can see there's a little angle right here where it's supposed to go. I found that if you put your middle finger right on the flat, it's actually not very comfortable. But if you put your index finger, your ring finger, and your middle finger on either side of this flat area, it's actually very comfortable and definitely easy to use in this particular orientation. But it's a big, heavy knife. I don't have the weight in front of me, but if I haven't mentioned already, it's like twice the weight of a 7 in my estimation. But yeah, it's a cool knife. People love it. It draws as much desire as a custom, and it goes for the same price as a full custom. In the reverse grip, it's kind of like angular and blocky, and doesn't have the same comfort as, say, like a Commander or an 8, which was, in my opinion, some of the most ergonomically correct, perfect knives that exist. It also has a domed pivot. Yeah, There you can see it, I think. And it has a steel flame 45 caliber thumb disc. But yeah, it's a cool knife. It's just one of those things where, if given the option, I'd rather have an 8. Only because, again, this is such a large knife. It's such a, it's not a long knife. It's a very heavy knife. Let's put it that way. Whereas the 8 is lighter, and I think it's just more comfortable. Like I said, there's this very angular handle. It takes a while getting used to. I mean, I think I've had this knife for 3 weeks, and it's taken me a while to figure out what position where to place my fingers for a comfortable position. Because for the longest time, it was quite uncomfortable until I had to play around with where am I going to put my fingers? How am I going to position my hand to get this to be comfortable? Because it's very angular, it's awkward, it's unlike any other knife I've ever handled. But considering that it is a 0 ground tanto Emerson, it is super popular, let's put it that way. And like I said, it'll fetch as much money as a 6 will. At least it can. I've seen it fetch that much. But yeah, that's about it. I'll show you one more time what it looks like next to a 7. And the 7 is more or less the exact same size as a 6. There are slight differences, but for the most part, it's the same size as a 6. And let me see if I can show you the difference in the liners. Yeah, you can see that the liners are, the non-locking liner of the HMMV-K appears to be twice that of the 7, and the locking liner of the HMMV-K is maybe 50% more than the 7's. It's a beast of a knife, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's super cool, and it's just very unique. And if you have the opportunity to pick one up, definitely do it. It's unlike any other Emerson you'll purchase. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I always appreciate, always enjoy conversing with my subscribers. Alright guys, as always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. See ya.